Is your language a barrier to me, the patient's understanding? When I come and see you, I'm out of my comfort zone. Suddenly, I'm going to be worried what you're going to say to me, what the diagnosis is, whether it's a new one or a continuing diagnosis. And I'll hear words I think I understand, but I'm going to be far too embarrassed and proud to actually stop the consultant and say, well, what does that mean? What I might do is actually find a nurse afterwards, and one of the speakers earlier this morning mentioned that you find a nurse and say, now translate that please. And we get emails which are absolutely amusing, where someone has totally misunderstood. I think that the best one I've ever heard is, my therapist said I can get camouflage with pins. Well, yes, make mine a double, please. Obviously, they misunderstood a medical index, a monthly index of medical specialities. So I'm at a disadvantage. Every sub-tribe in society perpetuates its own jargon, which is always a handicap to widespread communication. And if we actually look at the English Oxford Dictionary, look at the word jargon, it's words or expressions used by a particular group that are difficult for other people to understand. I rather like the final one, gibberish. You might as well be speaking in a foreign language to me for all that I understand that you're saying. So we actually took, I'm in dermatology, which is a subject area that hasn't really been touched on today, but we took a sentence that a dermatologist is quite likely to say to a patient. And to me, that is gibberish. Unless you understand those words, it is absolutely meaningless. So the British Association of Skin Camouflage asked people, what is your understanding of the individual words and the whole meaning of that sentence to you? What are you going to come away with after that 10-minute consultation with your dermatologist? So a common, which if we look at the OED, it's standard, average and ordinary. So we will now follow a pattern that we'll have the doctor's word, the OEDs, and the patient's understanding at the bottom. And the patients thought, well, no, that's common. That means lower class, yeah, you know. It's poor, people are poor if they're common. It's not very special, it's nothing to worry about, because it's common. So immediately I'm thinking slightly different to what the doctor is. Dermatosis, any skin disease. Now that was confused with being dermatitis, which means an allergic reaction. So I'm really going off now on another vein. Presents, well, that's gifts, presents. Does that mean it's catchy? You know, you're going to give it to me? Erythema, now that wasn't in the OED at all. I had to go to a medical dictionary to look that one up. So people said, absolutely no idea. What it means, it's red. Something is red. Lesions, well, that was confused with the Roman legions, or the foreign legion. The S was substituted with a G. So does this mean a lot of people, perhaps foreigners, we're talking about here? What's that got to do with my skin? So a common dermatosis presents with erythematous lesions, actually a standard skin disease with visible red areas. Translated to me, it's an allergic reaction that you can catch off poor foreign people, but lots of us have it, so it's nothing to worry about. Okay, I'm with it there. Idiopathic, are they calling me an idiot? Does he think I'm pathetic? Do they think I'm imagining this? Familiar? Well known? Famous? What's that got to do? Is it anything to do with my family? The actual word was taken to mean familiar instead of family connection. So we've now got, it's an allergic reaction that you can catch off poor foreign people, but lots of us have it, so it's nothing to worry about. Now they think I'm imagining it because famous people have it too. Chronic. Now that comes over as being bad, very serious. Not that it is developing slowly or of long duration. Topical. Well, it's current affairs, isn't it? It's in the newspaper, everyone's talking about it. Got no idea that that meant something that was put on the top of your skin. Preparation. Oh, we got to get ready. Yeah, we got to be prepared for this one. So that simple sentence that the dermatologist has said to me, thinking that they are explaining my skin condition in language, jargon that is very familiar to them, translated to me as a serious allergic reaction that you can catch off poor foreigners, but the doctors have got treatments ready, so there's nothing to worry about. But they think I'm daft and in imagining this because I read about it in the newspapers that lots of famous people have it too. Now, why on earth couldn't the dermatologist or the medical professional, and to some extent you patient support groups, just speak and say, I've got a standard skin condition with visible red areas. We don't know the cause, but it might run in families. It will be persistent, but we can treat it with medicines applied to the surface of your skin. And I'd have understood that. Thank you for listening.